Hey guys, hopefully everyone is doing well. Today's target is to solve question number 4. The chapter which we are related with is cash book, which is chapter number 8. This is question number 4, and as you can see, several transactions are given in the question, and we are required to make double column cash book. As usual, there will be two parts of this question. First, we will enter these journal and these transactions into journal, and then that journal would be converted into double column cash book. So guys, I'm sure you are ready to have all journal entries. So let's start it. First entry is March 1. Let's put the date first. We have March 1, the first entry, and then it is cash in hand. So you will put cash in hand, and this is your third line as usual, which is fixed for narration. After writing narration, we are supposed to put an ending line. So let's put it out. Cash in hand means cash is not going out, cash is not coming in, it's just in hand. So it's favorable. We will be happy to have cash in hand. Favorables are asset, asset should be debited. So you will write cash at debit side, and debit side should be aligned on extreme left. It has been said cash is not going out, cash is not coming in. It means there is nothing to write on credit side. Just for reference, you will write it's a balance. Let's see how much amount of cash in hand is 60,000. So we are going to write 60,000 on debit side, and same amount we are supposed to write on credit side as well. In this way, March 1 entry has been completed. Now next entry is also March 1, but we will write A with it. You can see that next date is also March 1, and narration is cash at bank. So you will write cash at bank, same narration. As usual, we are going to put an ending line after that. Cash at bank means cash is not going out, cash is not coming in. It is just present in your bank account. Bank account is favorable. Assets, asset should be debited. So you will write bank on debit side because it's your asset. And as usual, amount is not going out or coming in, we will just write balance as a reference. So bank to balance is your entry for March 1. 80,000 is the amount, so you will put 80,000 over here, and same 80,000 we are needed to put on credit side. March 1 entries are completed. Now next entry is for March 5. Let's put March 5 over here. Narration received two checks. Please understand there are two checks. We may combine this entry, or we may enter two different checks into two different journals. So first we will enter both checks in different entries. March 5 is saying we are receiving checks. Check received from A. This is our first narration. Yes. And same, what you will do, you will write this narration as it is over here, but second check we are receiving from B. This is first way to make journal entry. Otherwise, you can combine it and can write both checks in same entry. But since it is just the start of our chapter, so we will write these entries in separate journals. So check received from B. We have already an understanding when check is being received and we are not depositing these checks into the bank, it means there is no relation of bank. So for the time being, we will consider this check as cash. Cash is coming in, asset is increasing, increase in asset should be debited. So you will write debit cash. But please understand, it is not cash. Since check has not been deposited into the bank, so temporarily we are writing cash. Check received from A, cash is debit. We have received this check from A. Why? Because amount was receivable from A. He was your asset. He was your debtor. As you will receive your amount from A, he will not be your debtor. He will no more your asset. Asset would be decreased. Decrease in asset should be credited. So we are going to write name of A on credit side. This is our first check, and check received from A amount is 20,000. Just put 20,000 on debit side and same amount we are supposed to write on credit side. So check received from A, cash to A entry. Temporarily we are considering it cash, but actually it's a check. In the same way, when you will receive your check from B, logic would be same. You have received check from B. For the time being, you are considering it as cash, and from whom you are receiving this check, the person is B, and date would be same as usual. All right, and let's see how much amount of check of B is 10,000. So just write down 10,000 over here, and same amount we are supposed to write on credit side. Let's put the date as date is same. We will just consider it as 5A. So please note it down. You have received check, cash to A, received check from B, cash to B. March 5th entry has been completed, and now we will see March 12th. Let's put the date first. March 12 is saying cash purchases less trade discount. In first question, we have already understood that trade discount would not be written, only amount would be adjusted. So first we will see cash purchases. This is our narration. Cash purchases. What does that mean? We have bought goods for cash. Please understand, bought goods for cash. When you will purchase goods, goods will come in. Goods are your near asset. Asset would be increased. Increase in asset should be debited. So we were supposed to write goods over here. But in accounting, we do not write goods. In place of goods, we write working. And what working we are doing? We are buying. So in place of goods, we will write purchase. As usual, goods were written just for the reference. You do not need to write it over here. Unnecessary to be written over here, you can erase it. So purchase is debited. Let's remove it. Brackets. Okay. When you are buying your goods on cash, goods are coming in, what will go out? Cash. When cash is going out, cash is your asset, asset would be decreased, decrease in asset should be credited, so you have credit your cash. Now, the problem is related with the amount. Please note it down, there is 5% discount. So let's calculate over here. First, total amount was 16,000. Please note it down. Total amount was 16,000 and 5% was discount. So here you will calculate discount. Please note it down. How to calculate 5%? 16,000 multiply by 10 divided by 100. Please note it down. How we have calculated discount? 5%. It was 5%. So we have our discount 800. Discount was 5%. Total amount was 16,000. So when discount is being given or taken, final amount, how would we calculate the final amount? By subtracting. This was original amount 16,000, discount was given 800. So what you will do, total amount 16,000 minus discount, you will get your final amount 15,200. So we are going to write 15,200 on debit side, and same amount we are supposed to write on credit side. I request you to please repeat it. Just reverse your lecture or video lecture and rewind it for few seconds and repeat how we have calculated 15,200. Alright guys, March 12 entry is completed. Now March 20 is our next entry. March 20. And March 20 is saying cash sales, bank the same. Please understand, you have sold goods for cash and that cash is immediately deposited into the bank. So you may write cash sales and banked. What does that mean? You have sold goods for cash and that cash was immediately deposited into the bank. So what will happen? Amount present in your bank account would be increased. Please understand, you have sold your goods, received cash, and you have deposited that cash immediately into your bank account. So amount present in your bank account would be increased. Increase in bank account would be debited. So you will write bank on debit side. Bank is your asset. Asset is increasing. Increase in asset should be debited. How you have got this amount? You have sold goods. It means goods are going out. Goods are your near asset. Goods are decreasing. Asset is decreasing. Decrease in asset should be credited. So you were supposed to write goods on credit side. As usual, we do not write goods in place of goods. We write working, and please note it down. What we are doing, what working we are doing, sales. And goods were written just for the reference. Now they are unnecessary to be written over here, so you may erase it. In this way, cash sales and banked entry is bank to sales. March 20, amount is 4,000. Let's put 4,000 on debit side and same amount we are supposed to write on credit side. In this way, March 20 entry has been completed. Let's see what is next. March 22. First we will put the date, and now we will see what March 22 is saying. Withdrawn from bank 16,000 and paid wages 6,000, rent 6,000. This is little different entry. What we are doing, there are two parts. You may convert this entry into two parts, or you may write it in a combined entry. So guys, what to do? We will be dividing it into two parts so that you can understand it well. This is half part. Withdrawn from bank 16,000. So first part of entry is saying drawn amount from bank. We have drawn amount from the bank. So what will happen? Amount present in your bank account would be decreased. When you will draw amount from your bank, amount present in your bank account would be decreased. Amount in bank is your asset. Asset is decreasing. Decrease in asset should be credited. So you will write bank on credit side. Why? You have withdrawn amount from the bank. So amount present in bank decreased. And what you will receive when you will draw your amount, you will receive the cash. Cash is your asset. Asset is increasing. Increase in asset should be debited. That is why you have written cash on debit side. Cash to bank is your entry. How much cash you have drawn? 16,000. So just put 16,000 on debit side and same 16,000 would be posted on credit side. So drawn cash from the bank, cash to bank is your entry. Next, same March 22A. Why? Because there we have divided our entry into two parts. Drawn cash, and now we have paid wages and rent. When you will pay wages, what will happen? Paid wages and rent. First time we are entering two different journal entries at the same position. Please note it down. You have paid wages. When you will pay, what will happen? Your cash will go out. Cash is your asset. Asset is decreasing. Decrease in asset should be credited. So you will write cash on credit. First part is saying you have paid wages. Wages are expenses because we will pay wages again and again and again. Expenses should be written on debit side, so you will write wages on debit side. So entry will be wages to cash. But please understand, we have paid rent as well. We have paid wages and paid rent as well. Rent is expense, expenses should be debited. So you will write rent on debit side as well. Now, if you wanted to separate these entry, so it would be wages and then to cash. Next was supposed to be rent and to cash. So instead of making two different entries, wages to cash, rent to cash, what you have done? You have combined this entry because in both entries, cash was credited. Now we will see how much amount is for wages. 6,000. You will write 6,000 in front of wages and amount of rent is 6,000. Please note it down. Amount of rent is 10,000. So here you will write 10,000. Now please note, you have paid 6,000 for wages, 10,000 for rent. How much total cash will go out? Obviously, you will add both of these expenses. So total 16,000 cash will go out. In this way, our March 22A entry is completed, which is wages, rent to cash. Now, after 22, we have 23, and that is March 23rd entry. Let's see what it is saying. Received X cash 6,000, check 10,000, both deposited into the bank. Again, we can divide this entry into two parts, but instead of that, let's make this entry in single journal position. Received cash and check both deposited. Cash and check received and deposited. Okay, so narration is little larger. Let's adjust it. Okay, let's wrap it up. No, we have let's make it shorter. Instead of this, we will write and. So cash and check received and deposited at the same time. For this, we will take little time to understand. Received cash and check both deposited into the bank. What does that mean? Both have deposited in bank means bank amount is increased. When amount present in bank would be increased, bank is your asset, asset is increasing. So you will write bank on debit side because amount present in your bank account has been increased. From whom you have received this cash and check? The person is X. The person is X. X was the person from whom amount was receivable. He was your asset. Asset, he was your asset. I am using the word was. As you have received the amount, it means there is no relationship. He is no more your asset, no more your debtor. Asset has been decreased. Decrease in asset should be credited. So you will name X on credit side. Now again I will divide this entry into two parts. On rough work I will show how we can divide this entry into two parts. This was your old entry. Let's make some space. Okay. Cash received from X. It means cash is coming in. You will debit cash. From whom you have received this cash? From X. Again, you have received check. As you have not deposited this check into the bank, you will consider it cash to X. This is second entry. And finally, you have deposited this check and cash into the bank. What does that mean? Increase in bank, debited, and these both cash amounts are going out. So you will write cash on credit side. Okay, please spare some time to understand. You may write this entry as bank to X, or you may write this entry cash to X for cash, cash to X for check, and then both have been deposited into the bank. Now look at this. Cash was debit, and cash is credit. These are the effect of this cash has been cancelled, and what has been left? Just bank to X. Bank to X, and same entry we have written bank to X. Now it is up to you. You may write three entries or you may write just one entry. Over here, how much total amount has been increased in your bank account, and that is 6,000 and 10,000. That means total amount increased in your bank account is 16,000, and both cash and check was received from X. So guys, in this way we have completed our March 23rd entry. Now let's see what is next for us. 25 is our next entry. March 25. Let's see what March 25 is saying. Receive check for sale of old machinery and bank. Now please understand, you have sold your machinery. Machinery is going out, received cash or check, but that check was immediately deposited into the bank. First we will write narration, sold machinery, cash or check banked. Means machine is going out, received check, and that check was immediately deposited into the bank. So ultimately amount present in your bank account has been increased. Increase in bank means increase in asset. Increase in asset should be debited, so you will debit bank account. Bank would be written on debit side because amount has been increased in your bank. What had happened? You have sold your machine. Machine is going out. Machine is your asset. When you will sell machine, asset would be decreased. Decrease in asset should be credited. So you will write machine on credit side. So machine is going out, asset is decreasing, amount is deposited in bank. It means bank would be increased. Bank was your asset, asset is increasing, increase in asset should be debited. How much amount you have banked? The amount is 16,000. This is third time we are writing 16,000, okay, on debit side, and same amount we will post on credit side. So sale machine and banked, Bank to machine is your journal entry. After March 25, we have March 28. Let's put this 28. In this question, there is speciality that more than one amount is given in several entries. Look at this: 16,000, 6,000, and 20,000, 10,000. Then we have 4,000 and 6,000. Okay, paid by cash 4,000 and check 6,000. So we may divide this entry into two parts. First, we will write only paid cash. And to whom you are paying this cash? Paid to Y. Paid cash to Y is our narration. When you will pay cash, cash will go out. Cash is your asset. Asset is decreasing. Decrease in asset should be credited. So you will write cash on credit side. The person to whom you have paid this cash was your account payable. He was your liability. But as you have paid, he is no more your liability. Liability decrease. Decrease in liability should be debited. Name of Y would be written. Name of Y would be written on debit side. So entry for paid Y cash is Y to cash. After this, as you know that this entry has two parts, and we are going to do our second part, March 28A. Okay, let's get back and I will show you why we are doing this. Since there were two amounts, you have paid cash to Y, that was one part, Y to cash, and now you have given him a check. So what you will write? Paid to Y, or better to write check. Check is being paid to Y. This is our narration. So when you will pay Y a check, he will take this check to your bank account, will present this check to your bank, after which he will withdraw amount from your bank account. It means amount present in your bank would be decreased. Decrease in bank means decrease in asset, which should be credited. So you will write bank on credit side. The person you have given this check was A. He was the person to whom amount was payable. He was your liability. But as you have paid the amount, your liability has been decreased. Decrease in liability should be debited. So you will debit Y. Now the entry for check paid to Y is Y to bank. Let's write down the amount. You have paid Y cash 4,000. Just put 4,000 over here, and same amount you are going to write on credit side. While amount of check was 6,000, so we will write 6,000 on debit side, and same amount we are supposed to write on credit side. So in this way, guys, March 28A entry has been completed, which is Y to bank. When you will pay cash, Y to cash. When you will pay check, Y to bank. Alright guys, after 28, we have 30th entry. March 30 is our next entry, which is saying bank charged commission. Same narration we can write, bank charged commission. Okay, so what does that mean? Charge, charges, expense. Expenses should be debited. So commission would be considered as our expense. Now please note it down. Whenever bank will charge commission, he will not receive amount from you. He will deduct amount from your bank. It means amount present in your bank account would be decreased. Bank is your asset. Asset is decreasing. So you will write bank on credit side. Let's see how much commission we have paid, and that is 1000. So we will write 1000 on debit side, and same amount we are going to write on credit side. Bank charged commission. What entry we have done? Commission to bank. Guys, in this way, all of our entries have been completed. Number 30, it means first part of the question is now ended. We have made all of these. Look at that. All these journal entries have been completed. First part of this question is now ended. We will see you soon again for the solution of second part, where we will make double column cash book. Up till then, please take care of yourself, and I'm requesting you to repeat this question by yourself in return. And by doing this, if you feel any difficulty, you are very open to ask your question, queries through text, messages, comments, or you can directly meet to share your queries. I will 100% be available to answer those queries. Thank you very much for your time. It's time to say goodbye. Allah Hafiz.